They say you provide the information. They are in charge of the regulation of the permit. They are not in charge, apparently, of our health. So they're not currently measuring it, which is why we're going back to the council, and the council must step up and they must measure it.
Can I just
because
say,
there is an impact upon our health. Those of us who've had headaches, we all know there's an impact. And we're not happy with 3 months' wait in addition to the 3 months that you promised us several weeks ago.
can I just say,
You're making an allegation that we are putting
No, I'm not making an allegation. I asked you if you could guarantee it wasn't. That's actually what I said, and there's plenty of people recording
I
that.
will confirm there is nothing going into that site that's not allowed to. It's all non-hazardous. I will confirm that.
And yet the ENDS report says that that site was hazardous waste.
Prior to you owning it.
yeah.
Plus you've got to sell
And
for
you've got
asbestos.
permission reportedly
Yes.
to dump asbestos.
Yes, we have a permit that allows us to. We are not taking in asbestos. The permit does allow it,
Okay, well, you've all heard that, so
but we are not taking it in.
Your permit may allow that, but how do we know that you're not choosing?
Because we have to have a separate asbestos cell, and it's a separate piece of legislation. We are not taking asbestos in. NRW will confirm that, and I guess you've asked them that question.
NRW are regulating the permit. That's all they're doing. That's all they can do.
Have you asked the question,
Yes.
and they've confirmed we are not taking in asbestos?
They
No,
did. They did.
They did, yeah.
At the
They said
moment,
you
yeah.
You didn't have the correct facilities to do it, but they haven't been in to test anything, have they? You encourage NRW, you invite NRW in to do your testing for you for a number of weeks.
NRW come to site very often. They see with their own eyes what we are doing. They can take their own samples themselves. They
Well,
are
he's just
allowed
said a
to do
month
that.
ago, that's not very often, is it really?
They were on site this morning. They may not take samples every time you're on site, but they see on site and they can observe every time they come to site.
So with all that said and done, we're in Smithton, we've got a school down there. This, as you've probably gathered, is a playgroup. I've got 2 and 3 year olds in here. We're not letting them out to play. Going out to play is actually part of, it's a government regulation, they have to go out to play. We can't let them out to play in this. You can't give any guarantees for that home health list and all the hay carvings and all the rest of it.
If I can just answer that one. When we met at the pub on November the 8th, I said we'll be in the order of 4 months to complete this work. I was asked a question, will we have to suffer odour for that time? I said, yes, you will. That is where we are.
It's not just the odour, it's the health impact of the odour. It's all the toxic crap that's coming out of the air.
Just back up a bit there. That meeting in November, can you remind us why that was called?
Because of odour issues.
So you were already having the odour?
Yes, we were aware. Yes.
So you were several months into the odour to be bothered to come this far to come to that meeting?
We knew we had the odour.
You knew you were overfilling?
We were not. We definitely are not over tipping at the time of the meeting in the pub. That is incorrect. We were
But you
not.
knew it was going to happen?
We were there. We didn't know how long it was going to take us to get the application for the CQA into NRW.
And you carried on accepting waste?
We did, but we were not over tipping.
There's a lot more coming in now than there used to be, though, isn't there? There is all day long. There's lorries coming in there. Why is that then?
Money,
Money, is it?
It is a license.
Never used to be like that. It's only in the last few months. Wherever you go, you see Atlantic lorries coming in, all day long.
And what about the people that work for you? Have you got any, how are you looking after their health? They're breathing this stuff in all day.
Can I hear the answer to the lorry question?
Why is there so much coming in now, all of a sudden?
I wouldn't say it's all of a sudden. It does vary throughout the year.
I went to Swansea last week. I passed 15 between here and Pont Abraham in an hour and a half.
It's probably more noticeable now because you see the Atlantic lorries.
I would have noticed that many lorries coming down. We all would have.
Can I pick up on that point?
Yeah.
You're asking us to accept 10,000 lorry loads of somebody else's waste to come into Pembrokeshire next to a national park. If that isn't outrageous, I don't know what is. The cost of the diesel alone and the eco-unfriendliness of the whole exercise is totally outrageous. And that's in addition to the smells you've caused.
It's absolute madness. I think
The
it's
whole
absolute
basis of
madness.
this business is rotten.
I don't think your house, are you a Pembrokeshire resident?
Of course I am.
Do you know where your waste goes?
Yes,
Where?
it goes into Pembrokeshire.
No, it does not. It goes to Cardiff.
So ridiculous.
Why
Is
does
that because of the gate fees at your site and it's less for your own
It goes
firm?
to Cardiff, where does the rest of it go?
So our waste then goes to Cardiff, you bring it back here.
Yeah, but Cardiff and all of South Wales, that's a lot bigger than just Little Pembrokeshire. And why us when it's Cardiff? Why us?
You can't look at it as Pembrokeshire versus another county. It's Wales, and it comes under Grasshopper.
Can I just ask a question? On one of the returns that I looked at, it said that 100% of the waste was from Pembrokeshire. Is that because you can reclassify it when it goes into the waste transfer facility next to the landfill?
Sorry, we've never.
Well, I'm asking you, is the waste reclassified as being Pembrokeshire waste the minute it crosses the border?
No, it's not.
It's coming from further afield than Cardiff. It's coming from England as well, isn't
No,
it?
it does not.
Definitely not.
Definitely.
But why is Cardiff waste coming here? Why doesn't it go to Cardiff?
Why don't you
is
drop
ours
it
going
at
to
other
Cardiff?
tips that you pass?
Yeah, you know, the
Who
amount
owns
of
this one?
fuel, the environment, but the traffic coming back. You know, it's
Why
all
does
maps
Pembrokeshire's
up
waste go
to...
to Cardiff? I mean, you can go round in circles.
Okay, can you have Pembrokeshire's waste and yours can go to Cardiff then?
No, you can't.
Why not?
Why is that?
Pembrokeshire have signed a deal with Trident Park to take it to the Anglican Waste
Why?
Plant in Cardiff.
Why?
Because there's no room here, because he brings too much.
So who is responsible?
That's Pembrokeshire's council's decision, and they are looking by Welsh Government to take the residential waste to Cardiff.
And who's that person?
That's you to take up with Pembrokeshire, it's not for me to answer.
So is that where you've had the permit to put your rubbish?
From Pembrokeshire Council.
From Pembrokeshire Council?
No, NRW, Natural Resources Wales.
They gave you the permit?
Will there be any compensation for the tourist industry?
We will have this problem behind us in the next 4 or 5 weeks.
It's going to be a bit late then, isn't it?
According to NRW, there are a number of permit non-compliances under investigation. The odour is one. The water contamination is another.
That's going into the sea.
Allegedly.
You know, there's enough pollution, sleeping crabs, enough pollution
Have you
in the
spoken
sea
to
now.
the Clodagh
The
project?
river that runs along my garden, which is part of an SSSI. I'm not
Yeah.
allowed to do anything within 2 metres of my brook.
Yes.
Spittlebrook has been contaminated twice, once before Christmas and once about 2 weeks ago. Jane,
But we haven't had the results of that investigation.
Have
So
you
we
not?
can't
Our
say
own
it's contaminated.
independent water tester.
And what are you testing them for?
Why are you waiting for an investigation and not monitoring it regularly?
They are monitored
We
regularly.
Well, clearly not, because you're having an investigation now.
Well, I invite you to come to my garden next time this happens.
Can
No
I,
comment.
sorry, I've joined a little late, and forgive me if this question has already been asked and answered, but my understanding is the tip is higher than it should be. And my query is, you know, I understand we are where we are now. I want some reassurance about what's going to happen in the future. 12 weeks ago, we moved to this village. 2 weeks after we moved here, the stench arrived. And my anxiety is I've chosen to retire back to Pembrokeshire, and right now, having walked the loop of the village, which I do regularly through the day, my walk is polluted by the smell from Withyhead's landfill site. So where is the reassurance that this is going to be rectified? I'm hopeful because I'm told that there were issues when other people moved to the village and they were resolved.
Yeah.
I want to know how long it's going to take.
Yeah.
I want to know what the future plans are for the tip.
4 to 5 weeks to resolve the order. That's in line with what we said in November the 8th meeting.
From today, or are we
From
already
today,
into that?
From
Right.
today. The works
Okay.
are ongoing on site. All the materials necessary, all the people required to complete the works are on site. This will be done in the next 4 to 5 weeks.
What we get-
wanted to do was to keep you updated on progress of what we're doing. And if you remember at the pub, I asked if you'd like to come to site and we'll present to you how a landfill works
Yes, please. So when can I come?
in the spring.
In the spring. So when? A date? Some is not a number, soon is not a time. Tell me a date and I'll be there.
That's fine. We'll put the invite out. It'll go out via Grasshopper.
Thank you.
The invite will go out and we will present how our landfill works, what's happened, and the assurance going forward.
Thank you.
It is easier to present that and accommodate that on site when you can actually see it, not just using words.
Okay.
So is the same amount of rubbish going to keep coming down now for the foreseeable future? Or is it going to slow down?
It's going to adapt for sure, because we're on a journey of recycling and alternative land.
So all that is recycling in those lorries?
No.
No.
It's,
It's got recycling on the
Kind of
side.
misnamed.
Just wondering. It says recycling, Atlantic recycling,
yes,
doesn't it?
it does. Yes, it does.
It's not
But
recycling, though, is it? No.
You're taking things out of context.
I'm not.
You are.
It says
That's just the name of the
Atlantic
company that's
recycling.
bringing
Name
in.
of the company.
You don't recycle anything.
We do.
You dump it all in Pembrokeshire.
No, we don't. That is absolutely wrong and incorrect to say that. The residual element comes here, yes, from the counties of Wales. But we recycle, be it wood, be it plasterboard, be it metal, stone. We also make what's called an SRF, which is a fuel that goes into cement kilns. That goes into England to make cement.
Just not happy with
What
everything that's
percentage
going on. None
of
us
your
are.
waste that Atlantic receives, what percentage do you recycle?
Where is
I need to know the answer to that.
We can give it the
No, I need to know the answer now, because you've got to bring
He's going to give it the answer if you give him a chance.
So, Sue, at the back.
Sorry, I apologise. Hi, I'm Ben. One of the responsibilities I have for the group is reporting to ensure that the material that we receive across the business goes out to its destinations and is recorded. That not only goes to Natural Resources Wales, but it also goes back to the individual local authorities who we service, because they're bound to report back themselves what's happened to the recycling. So even though we've picked it up, we have to say not only where it's then gone, but when it's actually hit a new product.
So can you give me that percentage?
I can. It is over 80%. I'm in a public setting, but what I can give you is that there's a public document called PASS 402. This public document, I can give you a link, gives you all of the material that came into Atlantic Recycling specifically last year, and how much of that was recycled and the end destinations of where that went. Happy to give you that link. It's PASS 402. It's on a website called Green Compass. Now, not only is that our word, but that has been independently verified and authorised, because I have to prove by evidence of tickets.
Exactly,
Like
you
that.
have to prove 85% is recycled, so you not having that figure at the tip of your tongue is slightly suspicious.
When we come away from this conversation, if you can literally give me 5 minutes, I can give you
You
that.
should know your compliance with a scheme. It's like investors in people. You know what the parameters are for it to be authorised.
There isn't a specific recycling percentage that we have to offer.
Well, I've already
We could.
spoken to the Green Compass scheme and they're looking at
Shout
it
up.
because you're not compliant.
Can I,
Okay.
sorry Sue, can I just ask another question?
Yes,
Because that feels like we need to wait for some resolution. How much bigger can the site get? I will know more when I come to see you, and I would be very interested in doing so. I'm looking at the plan here and I can see a red outline that looks like it says the site. So how far off are we from that site being full and everything being capped, and then it can be covered over and landscaped and whatever else happens in the future? That's what I'm looking to. How long do I have to wait for that to happen?
And how long, how much bigger is it going to get?
That's it. Well, can it get much bigger? I mean, you know, I understand that in this country, this is a process that we have. It's not ideal, but it's what we've got. My concern is, how is this going to affect my retirement and the rest of my life here? And do I need to think about moving somewhere else?
The number we're putting out is about 15 years.
15 years from now?
Now that's very difficult to quantify, because we're on a journey of recycling more, you take the energy, the less there will be to go into the landfill. So it is going to change as every month and years go by.
Your colleague said 10.
So, okay,
It
we've got
depends.
10 to 15 because it depends. They're
It
movable
depends on how
parameters.
much material goes into the landfill.
But we're not going to be here again because the cells are going to be properly managed, because it sounds like you
Yes.
weren't ready
Yes.
for whatever built up
I
here.
think that's the main point that you raise, is rather than the length of time, as long as you don't potentially see us and smell us, we shouldn't be
You
about.
can't miss you when you're coming down A40. You can't miss you when you're
Shout
coming
out.
back on the
You knew
bridge.
this was going to happen.
Sorry, I was a bit late to the
Sue.
meeting,
Sorry, yeah.
so apologies if you've already covered this. But are you currently compliant with all the conditions of your licence for that site?
There are a couple of investigations going on.
So yes or no question, are you currently compliant with all of the conditions in relation to your permit for that site?
It's definitely not a no, that's for sure, but there are some complexities we're working through with the regulator.
Okay, can you explain those to us, the particular complexities and what they relate to as part of that permit in relation to non-compliance?
You've heard about the water runoff.
No, I was late, so I haven't heard about the water runoff,
Someone
because
put
it's a
drone-
drop-in, so I can come
someone
anytime
put a
between
drone-
4 and 7. So if you could just outline for all of us, I think I'm probably not the only one who'd be keen to know that. So can you categorically tell me, it's a yes or no answer, if you're currently compliant with all of the conditions of your permit on that site? It's a yes or no answer.
It's not a yes or no answer. There's
Well, you're either
complexities.
you're either
No, it's not.
compliant
No, it's not. There's
or you're not.
There's some complexities within it, and that will come out over time. We're working through
So it's a no.
Not
It's a
yet.
yes or no answer. You're either compliant or you're not.
Well, listen, there was a
You're either
drone-
compliant. I already know the answer. So from Natural Resources Wales. So you're either compliant or you're not. Is it a yes or is it a no?
We are working through those. But I
It's
will-
just a
what I
yes
will-
or a no.
It's obviously no hand.
It's a no. It's a no.
I'm not going to say yes or no. There are some complexities around that. Let me just.
The thing is, if we don't let the gentleman speak, we're not going to get the answers we want. So,
I only want a
back
yes
to
or a
you.
no.
And he's given you that. So
No, no.
he's given you a version of that. So
Water that was filmed by a drone, I think, back before Christmas. There was an escape of water. The allegation was that water was going directly into the Red Baxton waters. That is not the case. It was going into a containment ditch where it was being pumped to the treatment ponds. So we have these allegations, if you like, which are untrue. Now, when these are spiked, the regulator is duty bound then to investigate alongside ourselves. That is ongoing. So it's not the right thing to do to comment on that until it's concluded. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, I've got one more question.
Will that resolve the situations here? And if not, it will. So what you're saying, or categorically, that within that time frame, after 5 weeks, there will be no more worries.
ever.
What happens when the next cell's full?
Yeah.
The next, it'll be a succession of cells. We won't have the unknown situation we've had with the current cell. We'll be into a known situation, so we will be able to stay in front of the curve, if you like.
You said yourself the delay was because the construction wasn't finished. So the construction of the new cell wasn't finished. That's what your company said.
Yes, but when we were affecting an historic part of the
No,
site,
but you need another cell ready to go.
correct?
So why did you keep bringing the lorries in if it wasn't ready for you?
We need to cap the existing cell. In order to do that, you need to start the next cell.
Yes.
So we had a delay in the next cell. So whatever we did, we couldn't cap
So
this
why did you
one.
stop the
Why did you
lorries
stop the
coming?
lorries? When you knew you didn't know where to get them, it was appropriate.
It's not rocket science really, is it?
Have you started on the next cell now?
We are, yes. But the going forward cells, there's no more unknowns. Everything is known, so it's easier to affect one cell
Well,
to
you
the
know
next
what
cell.
we'll do. That's a known, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's absolutely fine. We know we've upset everybody. We accept that. We do accept that.
It's not just
It's not
upset.
upset, it's the
Potentially
issues that
maybe poorly.
We're concerned about the public health because we can't get information from public health about your emissions, and we can't get information from NRW about anything other than odour. They're not measuring the emissions and the impact on health. So at the moment, that's just going ahead for the next few months, and nobody's actually measuring how bad it is and how much impact that might have.
We are going to, would you like to comment on that? Do you want to comment on that one?
Yeah, sure. So in terms of monitoring work, the instruments that we've got are basically tuned in to detect quite high concentrations, because they're the sort of things that we use on site normally. We've managed to procure more sensitive instruments, but we're still talking about the things being at the limit of detection of these instruments. So there are alternative monitoring facilities available where we sort of leave things in place for a week at a time, and that then allows us to build up a picture. So the plan is that as of next week we'll start deploying these sort of longer term monitors so that we can certainly find out the sorts of concentrations here which can't be measured with normal instruments, and then we'll continue using those after the problem is fixed.
And geographically, does that go as far as Haverford-Weston Rock by Newgale, and over the other side of Priscilla Hills? Because that's where the reports are coming in from about the odour from time to time, which is what, 4 or 5 miles?
They can be distributed wherever is needed, and I think early next week there'll probably be a review. But I think the focus.
Well, we appreciate you doing that, and we're looking forward to the data. But we want to know why the hell wasn't it done before? Yeah. You're in this business.
So in terms of monitoring as well, of course, what you've got is you've also got a group of workers on the site, and the group of workers are at the source.
They're at the top.
Yeah, they're at the highest.
And they're standing upright, are they? Not parallel.
They're at the highest concentrations because they're working in and around that area. So they wear alarms that are fixed to them that monitor the quality. And if it goes over any of the thresholds of the set, then the alarms go off.
I think you should supply us all of those.
Yeah.
Well, we're not on the top, we're in the bottom.
And eye drops and everything.
So there is monitoring for the health of workers on the site, and that isn't a problem for the workers on the site, which is where, of course, the smells, the gases and everything are most concentrated.
But you're aware the public have experienced sore eyes, breathlessness.
Absolutely.
That's a public health issue.
Yes.
However you look at it.
Yeah. There will be a number of issues. I mean, there's not just the sort of physical issues, but there's emotional issues. If you're subject to nuisance and that nuisance is playing on your mind, then you've got anxiety. That anxiety can feed into sleep, and there's all sorts of issues that can come from it. Physical issues coming from it, as well as perhaps thinking of the more direct sort of poisoning stuff. So there are at very low levels of concentration that instruments aren't measuring. There can still be physical effects on people. So absolutely.
Can you afford to put some monitors around the site, not just for a few weeks, as you just said, ongoing and forevermore? Because that's the kind of reassurance and trust that we'd like to have back in you. If you can put those in and give NRW access to those machines, we don't want you reading them, we want NRW to read them. Can they be sent digitally so those records can be sent?
They can.
And can your company afford to put those in?
Yes.
Can we have one in the village?
Yes.
Can we have one in all the surrounding villages?
Can we do this with some order, with a review, that we make sure in conjunction with Pembrokeshire Council we put...
No, I don't want it. I want you to do it. You're the one taking the profit from the landfill.
Just let me finish it, please. We put these monitors on public ground. That's why I'm inviting Pembrokeshire County Council, which we organised by Ben. We'll put it on council land. And we'll put these monitors there in good faith. I would ask everybody that you adhere to that good faith and let the monitors monitor what they should.
I live in Trefgarn, and if it's a south wind, we smell it, or we smell it on the way. But my land is sort of opposite your. I took a lovely photograph in the snow because you're meant to be working on the top. But you can put your monitor in my garden if you like, because that's our land. So you don't have to go to the council. I don't know. I'm not being brave, I don't know.
Are there any conditions in the licence that relate to off-site odour? Are there any conditions within the permit, the licence, that relate to off-site odour? Is it a condition of the licence or the permit, is what I'm asking?
The licence of the permit normally requires there's no nuisance by off-site odour.
Okay.
And it's in planning as well, isn't it? Your planning permissions.
To be honest, I'm not familiar with the plan. The planning for this site is so old, it probably isn't in a modern formal planning consent I'd be surprised if there were conditions on.
So
Again,
I'm very black and white. Is there something in the permit or the licence that relates to on off-site odour?
Well, as I said, there is normally, and it's a general statement, like
What does it state within your licence? Could you?
I'd have to get the licence and see what it says.
Okay. Can we see that licence?
It's online.
Copy of the licence, yeah, it's online, is it? Right, so I can let myself. Because if you're smelling, if it's in the licence and it can addition, and it might be, for example, there should be no off-site licence from the site, you'd be non-compliant, wouldn't you?
That's right.
That probably helps you with my earlier question.
Actually, there are complaints from the hospital about the smell as well, which isn't very good if somebody goes in with chest complaints. So it's absolutely appalling, and you've allowed this to happen, and we don't have any faith. It's obvious, and you better keep to your word, because as a group, we might even start pushing to revoke your licence.
I understand, but as
Well
I say,
said.
as I said in the pub that day, 3 to 4 months, I stand by it. This will be behind us. I would like to get into the spring, better weather. Hopefully we've had several weeks of calm, where you haven't had odour issues. Please come to site and let us present, and you can actually see physically on the site how it works.
I drove past it. I wouldn't want to go on there. It's absolutely stinking. We drive past it.
Please,
Horrendous.
go with me. Go with me.
No.
4 to 5
Shall I get a
weeks,
gas mask?
Come to site.
No.
You don't want to come to site?
No, because I drove past it the other day. I couldn't breathe. My eyes were watering. I couldn't breathe.
I would ask you if you would reconsider. I think you'll be better informed if you
And what
come
we'll do
to
is get a
site.
representative team up.
Yes.
I'm really quite happy to go. I'm sure there are people.
I'm just worried about my chest. You know what I mean?
Final question.
That'll be a first.
Over the next couple of weeks, the smells, you know, are going to get worse. You know that. Because of the reprofiling and the removals. So they're going to stay. They're going to stay there. They're not going to get any better. In the meantime, that is hydrogen
Can
sulfide.
I just ask you to pause there, because you're going off in an incorrect fashion. It's not the case. As every week goes back, you will see an improvement. You know, can I just ask you to explain that point?
So starting on Monday, the equipment has arrived on site already. Starting on Monday, the gas well installation takes place. Normally, the gas well installation would take place after the capping. Decision has been made, the gas well is going before the capping, and the capping is going to have to work around it, because fundamentally, it's the extraction of gases from the waste that will have the biggest effect on smell. The capping is normally put on to stop oxygen getting in and reducing the quality of the gas. So the gas wells are going in starting on Monday, and they will be progressively switched on. As wells are in place, they can be connected up, and so as time passes, more and more of the gases are going to be captured and collected and going to the systems we should be going into. So you should be seeing improvement, gradual improvement, as time passes.
What gases are actually coming out? What's the name of the gases that this waste
landfill gas is a complicated mixture of various gases. Principally, it's carbon dioxide and methane. So I think the methane from this particular area is running about 58% of the gas is methane. The bulk of the rest of it is carbon dioxide. And then you get what we call the trace gases, the ones in very, very small concentrations that are difficult to measure accurately.
And there's a number, there's a whole suite of these type of things in tiny concentrations, but some of those are very smelly.
And are they harmful?
It depends on the concentration that you get in them, which is why the operators on site all wear alarms. So if the alarms go off, they know that there's a potential risk, a threat to them, and they have to leave the area. So
at that point,
it's happened on site a couple of times when people are stood next to a defective gas well. Now, before Christmas, one of the things we did was to go around the site with gas monitoring instruments to find out whether or not there was any leaks from any of the existing pipes. And about 3 or 4 pipes, I think it was, out of probably about 150 were found to have some small leaks on them. So those were fixed. So there's some work that's been ongoing since before Christmas, but the bulk of the work has actually started within the last week and is now ongoing.
So what's gone wrong to make us be here today? What's caused... Sorry, Barry, carry on.
all these lorries coming down, travelling back empty. All my transport owning friends, last thing they want is a lorry travelling 100 miles empty. Have you looked for a site nearer to industrial areas rather than bringing it to an industrial area?
They don't own those.
You did have a site in Cardiff, didn't you? Just
we-
outside.
We have a
Cardiff
site in
Landfill,
Cardiff, which is primarily for recycling.
Which is illegal.
Limited site. There are no issues with that site at all.
So why was there a criminal charge then?
That was 10 years ago, but an isolated incident which has been rectified. That is more complex, and this is not the forum to go into that.
So,
the allegation is incorrect.
So getting back to the truck question.
Back to the trucks. Empty loads going back, they don't all go back empty. Some do carry because there's waste goes from Pembrokeshire to Cardiff, Cardiff to Pembrokeshire, Swansea, Howes. It's all a complex situation. And it's going to be changing as the years go by as well. So it's not going to be what we have today stays forever. It doesn't, it evolves, and it will evolve.
So that evolution that you're talking about, and we're keen for green energy and everything else coming on board, how does that involve the communities that have got financial investment in their properties in this area in the future to make sure that there's no loss financially as well in the distant future?
We have to operate in the same way as any other industrial area would operate, which is to operate. People have to be employed, waste needs to be disposed of and recycled, but we do it in a neighbour-friendly way. That's what we have to do.
But I don't recall being asked anything by your company. You're asking us to be quiet for 3 or 4 months or weeks, whatever it is, before you've got things done. In the future, I think you should be a little bit more transparent with the community so that we're aware of what's going on.
We've taken that on board. Yes, we have.
Otherwise you'd have the Rebecca Ryan's mom too.
Yes, we acknowledge that weakness. We should have approached you sooner. We understand that. But
I can't help seeing the humour in carting a lorry load of rubbish to Pembrokeshire to take a lorry load of rubbish back to Cardiff.
Yeah.
I mean, where is the sense in that?
Thing, isn't it? We've got to go after the politicians for that one.
Yeah. Well, could you also tell me when the height of the site is going to be reduced to within the licence stipulations?
Within the next few weeks.
Wow. Really? All that rubbish.
Can I ask, how many years do you plan to be at the site? How long will the tip be open for? 15?
We're saying up to 15 years. Now, it depends on the rate of fill. If we put more in there, it'll be quicker. If we divert waste to other outlets as the industry evolves, then it'll be longer. So it's a difficult question.
Okay. Where does your asbestos go at the moment?
Into North Devon, a place called Walthall.
And where is plastic going?
And where does your contaminated soil go?
Contaminated soil goes to Cardiff, where it's washed, and we address the hazardous potentials in the soil.
And plasterboard?